Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're all having a really amazing day so far. And if you are new here, thank you for tuning in. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. Today's video is really special to me because this is actually a download that came through in a meditation this morning. And this isn't always the case for these reading videos. Sometimes I like to keep them more open-ended, so we'll just start the video and channel whatever comes through. But the reason that this one is different is because I actually was catching glimpses of this in advance. And what that tells me is that for a certain person or group listening here, this is going to be a really powerful message for someone. I'm getting that it's something that has almost been like tugging on your subconscious for quite a while now. For some of you, possibly even months, years, decades, or in certain cases, your entire life. I feel like this is one of those sort of threads of energy that may actually help to tie things together for you, things that you may have felt or experienced without necessarily fully understanding why. And the message that came through that I actually wrote in my journal was, the one at the core of it all is calling to you. And I also wrote down that everything else in your life has been coming into alignment. So for the collective I'm speaking to here, you will know this is for you, which, by the way, this message won't be for everyone. So I will share some indicators that this is for you, and you can, of course, use your intuition and discern here for yourself. It really is your intuition that is the compass of your life experience. But for the collective I'm speaking to here, you've noticed a lot of aspects and areas coming into alignment in your life recently. The word manifesting is coming out very strongly. So you may have really reclaimed your manifesting power. You may be noticing that you're experiencing a lot of synchronicities, maybe even things that you've been desiring have been showing up recently. You've just had this like amplified manifestation power. Well, my guides are saying that power was always within you, but the reason you're seeing your manifestations starting to pick up momentum or show up more visibly, or the reason that's going to start happening and you've been sensing it, is because you've done the healing work to actually access this power in a really stable, consistent way. It's almost like you had to peel back all of these layers of wounding, of programming, of, I'm hearing false selves. Like maybe you've gone through a lot of moments of ego deconstruction where you may have had to like totally deconstruct parts and pieces and aspects of yourself that weren't really part of your true self, but that were somehow projected onto you by others or programmed into you by society. And I feel like you've really done that and gotten to this core, or you're moving towards this true core frequency of who you are and embodying that in a more strong way all the time. And so as a result of this, you're tapping into this newfound power, which in a sense, it's also just you coming to this core of who you are, and that energy naturally connects you with a super high vibrational timeline, because the deeper we go within ourselves, the more we come back to that core of ourselves, the higher we vibrate naturally in terms of energy, and therefore the higher of a timeline we're able to access, which naturally carries with it the unfolding, the trajectory, the manifestation of all of those true core soul desires. So you're probably noticing a lot of momentum in a lot of areas of your life. I'm hearing you'll feel it energetically first, and then you'll see it show up physically. But I feel that for this collective, you're actually really starting to see things show up or start to move forward in a real, physical, tangible, visible sort of way. However, there's almost this sense of there being a missing piece to the puzzle. There's this feeling like I'm hearing everything's working except this one thing. I don't know if this is like when it comes to a project or a goal, a dream, a vision, but for many of you, I feel like it's about areas of your life. Like in every area of your life, things seem to be flowing, things seem to be picking up momentum. But there's this one thing that just is, I'm hearing, noticeably absent or feels like it's missing. Now, I know that this can apply in different ways for different people, but I am getting strongly that for some specific individuals, this is in love. So you may notice that career-wise, or maybe you have a business or a passion or something you're doing or creating, and in other areas of your life, things are really starting to flow, to build a momentum, to show visible, tangible results. But I do feel that for this collective I'm speaking to here, there's something about your love life that feels harder or more resistant, that feels like it's taking longer to come into alignment. For many of you, I feel like this could be a specific person or a specific kind of love. And what I'm getting is that the kind of love that's being reserved for you is extremely rare. It's not something that most people will ever experience in many lifetimes, let alone in this lifetime. And the reason that you notice many people around you settling when it comes to their love life from your perspective is not necessarily because they individually are settling. What I mean by this is you are aware of a higher love and a higher frequency in love, in romance, because it's something that you're meant to access and experience in a real way in this lifetime. So those other individuals who you look at and think, wow, I feel like they're settling in love and romance, or that's really not what I would want in love, or the kind of relationship I would desire. It's not that they are personally settling. For many of them, they may not be aware of this higher frequency in love that you are sensing. I'm hearing a higher caliber of love, and there's nothing wrong with that. It may mean that as a soul, that's not something, an area that they're choosing to focus on in this lifetime, or something that they are electing to experience. The thing about destiny on a soul level is that when you have a really rare, big, and special destiny in a certain area of your life, ironically, that is the exact area of your life that you will feel the most stuck. Your entire lifetime, like from a young age, you will feel like this is that one thing that you just can't figure out, or that you just never seem to be able to do right. You'll feel that way until you lock in fully to the frequency, the energy of what you're actually trying to access, that thing that you were sensing deep down all along. And then your rare destiny in that area of your life will begin to show itself physically. It will start to embody itself in your physical world. But one of the greatest ironies in life here as a soul in human form is that the area of your life where you are meant to accomplish the most, where you are meant to experience the most amazing, powerful, rare, mind-blowing, beautiful experiences, is the exact area of your life where you most likely have felt the most stuck or delayed, where you've had people telling you, why can't you just settle down? Why can't you just be like everyone else? And it's actually because your destiny is so big in that area of your life that your soul quite literally will not allow you to settle. And that is such a beautiful thing. I feel like part of the reason this message is coming through to remind you how beautiful it is that you subconsciously, spiritually have this access to a destiny that is so rare that your soul is quite literally not allowing you to settle. Now, again, this could apply in any area of your life, but I feel that for many of you, this is specifically related to love. And this reading, this video is finding you because you were meant to experience an extremely rare kind of love in the world, a truly deep, spiritual, unconditionally loving kind of connection, one that would be I'm hearing both incredibly safe, but also deeply spiritually empowering, and one that would connect with you at all levels and layers. And most people will never find this kind of love. Again, I keep getting that message so strongly. They will never find that kind of love in this lifetime or even in multiple lifetimes, because this sort of love is reserved also for a soul who has truly done their inner work, for a very evolved soul. Because if you were at less of a level of consciousness, if you were less evolved as a soul, you actually wouldn't be able to sustain the super high frequency energy that comes with this kind of love. And that's why it's been reserved for you. That's also why it's been such a long path to it, because it wasn't just about love and romance in that kind of surface level, superficial way. It was about the spiritual journey that goes along with being prepared to receive that sort of love. And what I'm getting is that recently you've felt this kind of tugging on you or pulling at you in a stronger way. And this message is coming through. You could think of it sort of like a signpost on your journey. I'm hearing reminding you not to settle. Because especially when it comes to love, is what I'm hearing my guides say. There's a reason that your soul has not allowed you to settle. I feel some of the guides are kind of joking here and saying, even if you tried to make yourself settle, you wouldn't be able to, because your soul knows that this is real. It's touching the frequency of it, even if it's not fully yet seeing it physically. And I feel that the more you get back to this core of who you are, the more this love is beginning to align itself for you in the physical realm. I'm also picking up that recently you may have been noticing more signs or synchronicities around this, or just feeling it pulling on you in a stronger way. And if that's been happening, it's not coincidental. This is almost like your soul indicating to you that you're getting closer to it, that you're getting closer to experiencing it and manifesting it in a much more full-blown, tangible way in your physical reality. These are not coincidences. These are signs. That's what's coming up really strongly here. So I'm hearing that nothing was ever really missing. It's that something required you to actually find yourself fully first and lock in that deepest, most core, most authentic frequency within yourself before you could access it in a more physical way. And that was actually a form of protection, because as we mentioned earlier, if you hadn't done that inner work, if you hadn't peeled back all those layers of programming, when this love came in, if it would have entered your life prematurely, you wouldn't have been able to sustain it. Because it is so powerful, because it does vibrate at a super high vibrational frequency and energy. It would have been too overwhelming to your system if all of that previous programming was still in place. So I actually do want to pull some cards here to see what else we can channel into here. But another thing I wrote down that's similar to a message earlier, but worded a bit differently, is the one at your core is calling to you why you couldn't let yourself settle. And I feel that more and more it's going to become clear to you why you could never settle in this area of your life, which again, for many of you, I feel is love related. And I'm also hearing you're going to be very happy that you didn't settle, that you trusted your intuition and didn't give in to external pressures. Because another message coming out here very strongly is that you may have external people or things trying to pressure you into a different timeline, trying to pressure you to kind of lock something in, or to settle where you are, or to kind of give up on searching for this thing that connects with that rare frequency and energy you're sensing exists for you. And I'm just hearing, don't give in to the pressure. Trust what your soul knows here. Your soul has not allowed you to settle for a reason. Now here we have the card, the Ace of Pentacles. So this is about stability, security, and manifestation here as well. I'm getting this strong message that whatever seems to be coming in for you, this like very rare experience in love, while it does vibrate at this super high energy and frequency, it's also incredibly stabilizing and anchoring for you as well. I actually feel like this is a love that supports you in your highest path and highest purpose. I'm hearing a love that doesn't even just cheer you on, but walks the path along with you. So I feel like this is someone who is deeply spiritual in some sense themselves, even if they wouldn't necessarily use the same physical language to describe their spirituality. I'm getting that this is someone who has some kind of personal relationship with their own soul, with whatever they consider to be a higher power or their higher self. This also seems to be someone I'm hearing who really knows who they are as well, just as you know who you are. And I have another message here coming through, but this one's a little bit harder to explain, and I hope this comes across the right way. But if I'm being honest about what I pick up from this collective, it's that much of your experience in love and romance has been, and I'm cautious here because I don't mean this in a way that's going to come across egotistical, but I also know that for this collective, you wouldn't take it in that way because you have such a healed relationship with your inner self and with your self-concepts. Like you have a confidence, but not an egoic-based pride. But what I'm picking up is that in love specifically, you've had this experience of knowing that the people that you were dating or connecting with romantically were not quite on your level in terms of consciousness, in terms of their awareness, their energy, their frequency. I'm hearing savior. So for someone listening here, you may have even had a bit of a savior complex in your past where because you're so naturally empathic, I'm hearing projects. Maybe in the past you were in relationships that, you know, in a cliche way, people would label as projects where you were trying to fix or help or heal the other person, which of course is a really beautiful thing. And I feel all of those connections served their purpose. But I'm also hearing that this has left you feeling exhausted and also really truly wondering if anyone can meet you on your level. And again, I do not mean this in an egotistical way. I just feel like you've really, it makes sense because this is a very rare collective and you do have this very special, rare quality to your energy. I'm hearing like the 1% of the 1%, like you have a very rare quality to your energy that people feel extremely drawn to, but few people have the ability to actually mirror back to you. And so I feel that you're often left exhausted by these kinds of relationships long term because while you might find a sense of like comfort or passion or connection, there's also that underlying really deep, if you're being honest with yourself, soul knowing that the other person really is not on your level spiritually, energetically, or vibrationally. But the thing about this love that I see coming in for you is it actually has the ability to mirror you. And that's extremely profound because I feel like this is something you've never really fully found or connected with romantically in the past. I'm getting some people may have come very close to being able to connect with you in that way, but there's always just been something a little bit dissonant, a little bit off that left you feeling like you were kind of carrying the emotional weight or the energetic weight of the connection in a way that you may not have really been able to even describe or explain to other people. I also feel that for many people listening, this is like a private knowing you've had within yourself. I'm hearing like something about your diary, like your internal diary or your internal dialogue where you've had this, maybe this is speaking to a private conversation you've had with yourself, but with no one else, like where you kind of realize that no one else has really been on your level, but to say that to someone else has seemed, again, like it would come across arrogant, which isn't the way that it's meant at all. And I feel that's not the way that you think about it. It's just in terms of a literal reality as far as where you're at with your spiritual journey, with your consciousness, with the way you perceive the world. and other people. I feel like you often fall into these strange spiritual power dynamics in relationships where you are kind of like the healer, the teacher, the mentor, and sometimes even when the other person wants to, they just quite literally are not at that level to be able to reciprocate with you. But what I'm picking up very strongly is that what's coming in for you actually does have the ability to do that. And if you're part of this collective, although it may sound simple to other people, you personally will understand just how profound this is for you. Because again, this seems to be like nothing you've ever really experienced in the past. So if you do want assistance in really locking in your personal highest vibrational timeline, which I feel you already coming into this awareness of, but this will really help you to connect with that energy in a stronger, more consistent way, I really recommend my highest vibrational timeline subliminal meditation, because this is designed to really help you align with that super high vibrational frequency consistently that naturally brings about the trajectory, the manifestation of all of those core soul desires, including what's unfolding here in a really rare and special way in your love life. So this subliminal works with the power of your subconscious mind. It contains, I believe, about 100 beautiful affirmations to deeply reprogram and shift your subconscious. I personally, when I listen to this one, can feel a shift after just one listen, and you can try it out for free if you want to see if the same thing happens to you after meditating with it once. I have it available through my Subliminals app, Sound and Soulful, which is available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And in this app, I do have over 130 subliminals for essentially every area of life. So love, relationships, mindset, mood, appearance, money, business, and so many other things as well. And when you find the subliminals in the app that resonate with you, you can listen in 10 different background sound options, and you can create your own personal private playlists. Subliminals are so powerful because they work with the subconscious mind, which research has shown it's actually the subconscious that controls 95% of our thoughts, actions, and outcomes in life. So personally, I've seen huge results working with and using subliminals on a daily basis. I still use my own subliminals every single day from this app to manifest in my own life. So I'm so passionate about sharing all of them with you. And I will be leaving a link to download the app and try it free for 7 days in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Okay, so I'm going to pull just one final card from my Woodland Wardens deck. This is a new oracle deck that I just got recently, and I really feel we're going to continue following this thread of energy in future readings. I'm feeling like this is a good closing point for this mini reading, but I feel this is going to come up again very soon, maybe even within the next few days. So if you do want to keep following this thread, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, where I post more energy updates, inspiration, and information to uplift your day and keep your vibration in a super high vibrational place. Okay, so the card we got from Woodland Wardens is the Wolf and the Rose Hip. And what I see from this card is like what you thought was a delay was actually you being protected for a higher love, you being reserved for a rare, beautiful, sacred love that you've been sensing within yourself. It's like your soul has caught glimpses one way or another into this timeline where you are experiencing that rare love. And that's why on this really, really deep subconscious level, you've not been allowing yourself to settle. And that's such a beautiful thing. Keep going. So I feel like that's all I really want to say here. I hope this reached you. If it was for you, this does feel like it belongs to a very rare, special portion of the collective. If it did connect, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. But otherwise, I am wishing you the most beautiful remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.